Adam, darling.
How are you, darling?
I can't even do it without actually laughing. But it's ever Anita, darling. That's what I was going for.
Anita, darling.
Yeah.
How are you?
You know, great. I'm so sorry it's been so hot over there, but it has been like cloudy and rainy over here. So it's finally cooled off a bit, which we're grateful for. Mm-hmm. We're grateful for some cooler weather, you know.
Some cooler weather. Oh, I just scratched myself. Look at my neck.
Oh, yeah, you did.
God.
Maybe from the heat. Excuse me.
No, I literally just scratched it and it went crazy. Okay. Well, I think we should just head right into it, Ari. Well, Ari, this week we read chapter 22 called The Deathly Hallows, which is so funny because I don't know if you know, but the book is called Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
The titular chapter title.
Ari, what happens in this chapter?
They've escaped and they discuss where the Deathly Hallows could potentially be. Mm-hmm. Hold on, wait. Let me summarize that. The Deathly Hallows location is discussed, and they listen to the radio.
Yep, that's it. That's the whole chapter.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like those are the important parts. And Harry massively fucks up. Massively. Mm-hmm. So yes, the Deathly Hallows. The chapter opens with Harry falling onto the grass, and then he gets up immediately. They're in a field. Hermione's already up, setting up the enchantments. Ron's like, oh my God, that filthy traitor, that traitorous bastard. And he's like, Hermione, you were a genius. Can't believe you got us out of there. Ron has really worked on his words of affirmation love language. He's really letting Hermione know, and I'm here for it. So Hermione is like, yeah, I hope they don't, because they're all like, oh my God, we hate him, but like, what do you think is going to happen to him? After they thank Hermione for getting them out of there brilliantly, you know, because Harry also is like, yeah, that was super smart. She's like, yeah, I hope that they don't kill him. That's why I let them see me and Harry, but not you, Ron. Because Ron's like, why was I under the invisibility cloak? And she's like, because you're supposed to be at home with Spattergroit. So if they would have seen you there, they would have gone for your family. So that's why I said you should be covered up. And once again, Ron's like, you're a genius. I'm like, yeah.
Again,
nothing new,
I
boys.
have to just say this, and then I swear to God we'll move on. I cannot believe that the Spattergroit thing is like the plot point that she keeps calling back to. Like I can't believe it.
Fool per Adam. This was the best idea Ron has ever come up with. Let him have this. She's like, we're gonna give him this one.
I will say too, also like, we know nothing about Spattergroit. We don't know what it is, how long it lasts, or whatever. So
I don't know if she does either, Adam.
To be fair, true. I don't know if she does.
She hasn't set the parameters anyway.
Do you know what's so funny is my mic in the frame looks like the little hat that the bird wears.
It does! In K-pop Demon Hunters!
Yeah.
The little hat. We made it for Friedrich, but it just keeps popping on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
The computer keeps stealing it. Sorry, back with our trio. Our trio is like, yeah, well, we hope, well, not really. I don't know how much Ron and Harry care if he dies, but Hermione's like, anyway, I hope they don't kill him. And then Hermione's like, what about Luna? Do you think Luna's doing okay? And Ron's like, well, if they were telling the truth and she is still alive, she'll be in Azkaban. And Hermione's like, don't say that. She has to be alive. And then Harry's like, I bet she'll be all right because it's Luna. She's probably teaching all the other inmates about rack spurts and you know, stuff like that. And which was a comforting thought. I was like, yeah, Luna would be the one that she's like, we just got to summon the rack spurts and they'll protect us from the Dementors. Evil energy. Like that would be Luna. She'd be like, it's fine. They're here. They're here with us. And then once they're all settled in the tent and they're very relieved to be back in the tent, Hermione's like, oh, wow, what a waste of time. Like, can't believe we did that. You're so right. It was just Godric's Hollow all over again. Like, what a bunch of rubbish. And then she's also like, he might have even made all of that up just to like keep us there. Like, just because he obviously had like told the Death
to buy
Eaters
time so he can, yeah.
She's like, do you think that was even real? But then Ron makes a good point. He's like, no, I reckon that was the truth because I know from firsthand experience it's really hard to make up stuff like that on the fly. He was like, it was way easier for me when I was saying stuff about Stan because I actually knew him. So I had, you know, like something to kind of like reference. I wasn't just going in blind. But Hermione's just like, well, I don't believe it. I don't believe any of that was true, even if he believes it was true. And then Ron's like, well, the Chamber of Secrets wasn't supposed to be a real thing, but that very much was. And then he points out the cloak is definitely real. So there's at least one of the three objects that exist. And Hermione herself was the one that said there were legends of like all-powerful, infallible
destroyer
wands.
Yeah.
The death,
whatever.
You know, our fave the death stick. Yeah, literally. We're talking about cigarettes, kids. Put out those cigarettes. And then Hermione's like, okay, fine, but what about the stone? There is no stone that exists that can bring back the dead. And then Hermione's like, or I'm sorry, Harry, in response to Hermione, is like, you know that one time where me and Voldemort's wands, like, connected and we had the Priori Incantatum that happened? I saw the people that Voldemort killed and my parents come back, even though they were only there for a little bit. And then he's like, maybe there's a way. Like, that guy did live with that woman for a while, whoever he brought back, but she just wasn't the same. And then he realizes that this is scaring Hermione, that he's talking this way about, like, hanging out with the dead people. Yeah.
Okay. Here's my issue. Because I was, like, reading this chapter, and I was like, who cares? Meaning like,
gives a shit.
Meaning like, well, first of all, I don't think she's like, I don't love, like, some of the dialogue feels really stilted. I hate when she's like, maybe he just made it all up, and Ron goes, well, I've had to make up stuff before when I was on the run, and it's a lot harder. I was like, what a stupid poll. No one would say that. Anyway, I was, whatever, that was annoying. And I was like reading it, and I was just like, this is we're just wasting pages on this debate. And then I was like,
yeah, she's trying to get that word count, girl.
She's trying to get that word count up. She thinks she's, who wrote, she thinks she's Charles Dickens. She thinks she's getting paid by the word. But then
Charles Dickens.
And then I was like sitting here as you're discussing it, and I'm like, why did this bother me so much? And I realize it's because the debate is then inconsequential. If the debate actually led to the minds of the rest of the group being changed because like Harry actually used debate to like convince them.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. It would be interesting to actually use logic to bring people to a point of view. But instead, all that happens is Harry goes, oh, it all just becomes clear to me. And this is the answer. And it's like,
Harry is like, in his mind, it is all figured out. No one is going to change his mind. It's a eureka moment for Harry and Harry
And I
alone.
know that like we're reading the book. Like the book is written from Harry's interior perspective most of the time. But like, if you're just gonna go with the idea that like Harry puts it all together and then there's no more conversation, then like, why did we have just cut the conversation? Just be like, Harry, as soon as they landed in the field, he was like, aha, I got it. And then we can just move on. Because like this whole back and forth is so useless.
Just to show that he's alone and he's not believed, or to make us think it's not a real thing, because obviously Hermione tends to be right, but not when it comes to this stuff, because she is limited, as Xenophilius said.
So limited. Xenophilius, somebody left a comment. Xenophilius is, the name means the love of strange things. So it's the opposite of xenophobia. Xenophobia is the fear
I did wonder
things.
xenophobia. Yeah. Xenophilius. Okay. Nice. So Hermione is like staring at Harry with concern in her eyes because he's talking about living with dead people. And so then he's like, okay, I'm going to just switch to talking about the Peveril family then. So he's like, okay, well, so anyway, what about the Peveril family? What did you know? What did you learn about them? And she did look into the Peverils after she discovered, the symbol on their grave in the cemetery. They were one of the oh yeah.
I want to say one more thing. And then I swear to God, you couldn't continue.
It's okay. What were you going to say?
I don't like, this has happened now multiple times in this book. I'm really over when Harry says something weird or like concerning, that they like give him a look. They like look concerned that he said something concerning. And then I think we as the like the way it's phrased is like, we're supposed to assume like Hermione and Ron are the bad guys for like being concerned about him. And I hate that it's framed like this.
Yeah.
Because like Harry, we know that you've gone through trauma and that you would love to see your parents alive again. Multiple people in your life have died. I think it's also fine that people would be like, oh, that's not how this works, because
we're sad for you for saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
And also babe, this has been since book 1 that Dumbledore had to warn you not to come back to the Mirror of Erised because you were going to lose your mind just staring at your parents all day.
The whole thing.
We know this is a thing for you.
Yeah,
it's weird to then be like,
not a
and
surprise.
then they shared a glance, and it's like, well, how dare they share a glance about me? I'm fine. You're not fine. You've never dealt with it.
You're not. You've got unprocessed
You've never addressed it.
Yeah. So apparently the Peveril name died out because they ended up having more daughters than sons. Didn't carry through, obviously. The patriarchy.
Correct.
So
because when the men die, that's when the line is dead.
Oh yeah, just
no more.
Totally done. Yeah.
There's no more. Because all your genes come from your father. I don't know if you know this, Ari, but your mother has no bearing on anything about you, in fact.
It's so crazy because apparently you do get a lot more genes from your maternal line as well. I don't know if that's specifically women tend to get more, but I do know we get a lot of genes from the maternal line. So it's just crazy that. And did you know, like, the egg is not passive in like the reproductive cycle? Like, it's
egg
not
is
passive.
not passive. I don't know what
egg
that necessarily means. Oh, okay, I see.
The way that we're told, it's like the sperm races in, and the sperm. This is not a conversation we should be having on this podcast.
The sperm flings open the door of the egg's apartment, and he's like, "It's me,
honey, I'm
baby.
home. Yeah, I'm the chosen one." No, the egg
is like speed dating.
Chooses exactly which sperm she wants.
And then at the speed dating function, she's
she kills all the other sperm.
Hell yeah.
She decapitates all the other sperm. She's like, no, I will only accept this one. So yeah, they make it sound like it's such a passive thing, the egg, in the process, and it isn't. It determines everything. Oh no! I'm like picking like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Hermione makes the point. She's like, just because the name died out doesn't mean they don't still have descendants, because like, of course they do. So then Harry, out of nowhere, I don't know how this pops into his head, because when they were trying to figure out like Nicholas Flamel when he was 11, he could not recall, but he heard the name Peveril spoken once last year in a memory, and he's like, I heard Voldemort's grandfather say he was a descendant of the Peverils because he was waving his ring.
Right. In the Ministry official's face.
In the Ministry official's face.
This is in the memory, by the way. Go back to book 6.
Yeah. This is is it the first memory? No. Second memory. Is it the first one him as a child? So then the second memory?
I think it's the second memory.
I can't remember which order. One of the memories. It doesn't matter what order. The ring ended up being a Horcrux because of Voldemort. And then Harry's like, oh my God, what if it was a sign? What if it was the sign of the Hallows? Because Marvolo said there was the crest on the ring. And what if it wasn't the crest at all and it was the Deathly Hallows symbol? And he's like, I never got a good look at it, but maybe it was. And then Hermione's like, if you're thinking that it was the stone, Harry, and he's like, why not? Why couldn't it be the stone? And then Ron's like, wait, would the stone even still work if Dumbledore destroyed the Horcrux? Because like the stone was cracked.
Right.
And then Hermione's like, why are we even literally similar to what Adam is saying? Why are we even talking this? Why are we even having this debate? She's like, you're trying to make all this fit and it doesn't fit. And he's like, no, it definitely does. It's all fitting on its own. I'm not trying to make anything fit. And then Harry starts thinking about how the Hallows, I should say, the Hallows could help him to conquer Voldemort in the Horcruxes. My autocorrect has corrected it to Hallows literally like any time I've written it. The Hallows. And it's so funny for me to like imagine like the visual of Harry like going through this, because he'll be like, well, why not? It could be the stone. And then he's like silent. Like they're just like watching him. Yeah,
he's the egg.
Oh, he's the egg. So then they're just watching him as he's having all these like internal discoveries in his own head. Like, and then he's like, then Adam, so he's doing that. He's going, and then all of a sudden he's like, and he like starts looking at his cloak. And I can just imagine like Hermione and Ron are like, yeah, you look at me and I'll look at you. He's like, like they're just like, what is he doing?
Weird.
And so they're kind of concerned about him. And then he's like, okay, this is definitely the type of cloak that Xenophilius was talking about. We're all in agreement on that. Then he gasps. So he's gone from to it's just the whole thing is like seriously like could be like a slapstick comedy scene. It's so funny. And then he's like, oh, I'm the descendant. I'm the descendant of the Peverils. It's me. Because Dumbledore had my dad's cloak the night that my parents died because he thought that it was one of the Hallows. And then he whips out the letter to show Hermione because he's like, this is it. This has to be it. The Peverils were buried in Godric's Hollow, so I'm obviously their descendant.
The leaps,
the youngest brother.
The leaps we are jumping are like we are pole vaulting.
Yeah, he's like, I am a descendant of the youngest brother for sure, and then he believes that the stone from the ring was left in the snitch. He's like, Dumbledore left it in here. It's in here waiting for me. I just got to figure out how to open it up. So
because she opens at the close, honey.
Because she opens at the close.
If in case we all forgot. Can I say the other thing too? That the one that drove me crazy, and I agreed with Hermione, is he's like, I couldn't really see what was on the ring. And two paragraphs later, he's like, for sure it was the side of the Hallows. And she's like, you just said you have no idea.
You just said you did not see what was on that. You just said that. And also then he's like, oh, well, he wouldn't know about the Deathly Hallows because he was, Voldemort. He's like, Voldemort wouldn't know about the Deathly Hallows because he was like an orphan. And Marvolo, there wasn't even a book in that house. So he wasn't educated. So he didn't know.
It wasn't like he was like, reading his kids fairy tales.
Yeah. He was like, there's no way he was reading them shit like that. And so then, he's figured it out. He is convinced. He whips out this letter to show Hermione. Hermione's like, Harry, slow down. And then he remembers. And this is the one that I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, well, and the cloak. I agree with the cloak. I think I'm trying to remember what I thought when he had this thought about the snitch. The cloak is so obvious.
Like, the cloak is like, yeah, that's the cloak. Like,
sure, yeah. I'm trying to think if I believed him that it wasn't the snitch. I think I was like, okay, I'll buy it because we haven't found a way to open the snitch yet.
I
was like, sure.
If I'm trying to think about what I thought at the time, I was so lost in the book as being like, what am I supposed to be for? What are we finding at this point? We now have more objects we have to find.
Yeah. You were like, we're adding more to our list. That's what's happening.
We're at the grocery store getting text that we have to buy more groceries, and we're in the checkout line presently.
We're about to go. And then he remembers that Voldemort is looking for a wand. And it has to be the Elder Wand. This is what I'm saying. That this one we know. We know that this is happening. Mm-hmm. And he's convinced, again, no one is going to change his mind. And he's like looking at Ron and Hermione like, why are you not losing your shit? This is crazy that this is happening. Like, he's like, this is insane. Like, all the puzzle is been completed.
He doesn't even explain like together. Being like, that's why he's looking for Grigorovich. Like, he doesn't even reference that.
No,
he's just like,
he's looking for that wand. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I wish we could, whoever wrote that version of this book that's from Hermione's perspective, I would love to read like this chapter. Because truly just taking them along for an insane ride. So he's like, okay. He's thinking, like I said, he's thinking about Voldemort. He's like, so Voldemort being a Muggle orphan, or a Muggle-born orphan, basically. He's like, he wouldn't have known, because I didn't know about the Deathly Hallows, the tale of the three brothers. So he's like, how would he have known? And then he's like, I don't think he does know. He doesn't know. He only has heard about the wand. That's the only one he cares about. And he turned the ring, which Harry is convinced is a Horcrux or is a Hallow, into a Horcrux. And Harry thinks that proves that like there's no way that he knew about the Hallows. He's like, I don't think that he has any idea what this is. And so Harry's just like, yep, this is it. I figured it out. Done and dusted. This is real. I've got 2 of the Hallows, and Voldemort is looking for the 3rd Hallow, the wand.
He says, I've got 2. I've got 2 of them.
I have 2. The 2 are mine.
He is great. Yep.
Cool. And then Hermione's like, Harry, why wouldn't
I don't remember.
Told you?
I'm going to say this right now. I don't remember what's in the snitch. Do not leave a comment and tell me what's in the snitch.
Let him discover it.
I hope what is inside that snitch is a fucking fortune cookie fortune. Like, I hope that snitch opens and it's like, you will be blessed with good tidings today. That's what I want inside that fucking snitch.
Dumbledore's like, best of luck, D. Like,
have a good summer, lass.
Yeah. So Hermione's like, Harry, why would he not have told you? Why would Dumbledore not have told you this? And then Harry says, Hermione, you said it yourself. You have to find it out on your own. It's a quest. And she's like, I only said that so you would go. I didn't actually believe that. I just said that because I wanted to go and see Zeno. And Harry's like, as she's saying this, he's like turning the snitch over in his hand. And Hermione's getting very concerned because she very firmly believes that they cannot afford to get sidetracked.
Correct.
She's like, we have to stay focused. We have to find these Horcruxes. That was the job that was given to you. We cannot lose, we cannot take our eye off the ball. Hermione asks Ron what he thinks. And Ron has like a very such a politician's answer. He's like, well, I do think it sort of fits together. I can't deny that, that's kind of crazy. But I do think that we need to focus on the Horcruxes because that is obviously what Dumbledore made it very clear that's what we should be doing. And Harry so then it's kind of dropped temporarily for right now, but Harry's mind does not change. So He does try to open the snitch by putting it up to his mouth again and again, but nothing actually happens. He also suddenly, this is the same night to be clear, he feels guilty for forgetting about Luna locked up somewhere in Azkaban as they're assuming it's Azkaban. And Dementors just drifting all around her. And then suddenly he's like, speaking of Dementors, will I be able to cast a Patronus with this new crappy wand? Because I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. And then he makes a mental note to practice the next day, but then we don't hear about it again. So he doesn't actually end up trying to practice. So Harry becomes obsessed with the Hallows, and then he is projecting onto Ron and Hermione because there's one day where he's like, you're so obsessed with the Horcruxes. And I was like, this is literally a perfect example of projection.
It's crazy.
You are the one that is having the obsessive thoughts, but then because someone is trying to talk to you about what you're supposed to be doing, you're like, oh my God, why are you so obsessed with those Horcruxes, guys? Jeez. It's such a weird thing.
It's also Hermione, even if you got all the Hallows, girl, guess what? He's still going to be alive.
The Horcrux. Yeah, it's not going to stop him.
His soul is still broken.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
The priority is 100% the Horcruxes, Harry. Come on, get with it. And then also we find out that the visions that he is having are getting blurred, and they're blurred and disjointed. They are not. Hello?
Bye. Where are you going?
We also learn that the visions that Harry shares with Voldemort have been affected. I feel like this is obviously because a Horcrux has been destroyed, but is that just me saying that with I have the perspective of where this goes, but I'm like, that's the main thing that you've done. That's the most, because if his soul has been divided into these different pieces, isn't that going to affect him, his power? I would imagine. I
don't, to me.
You wouldn't think that way.
I wouldn't think that way necessarily. Maybe that's what it's going to end up being. But I feel to me, it's more just he only sees these visions when Voldemort has really strong, intense emotion. And so my thought was just he's not super intense,
super emotional. Yeah. Everything's been kind of chill.
Yeah. Everything's going his way for the most
chilling.
part. He's just hanging out. Good guy, Voldy.
Yeah. And Harry is very concerned that the connection between them has somehow been damaged, and this is concerning to him. For whatever reason, he is blaming the wand. The fact that his wand broke.
He wand
just really
has nothing to do with this, but yeah.
This is another thing of I genuinely don't remember this, so no one tell me because I want to rediscover it because it's so rare that I can rediscover something about this book series.
Sure.
Because I've read it so many times. But Harry's wand It was never like there is someone who kind of like accidentally becomes the owner of the Elder Wand in this series. Do you remember who it is, Adam? There's like a character that like it wasn't intentional for them to be the one.
I believe I'll whisper it.
No,
is it Aberforth?
No. Okay,
Great.
I won't say then, but yeah. Okay, I won't say then. So no one spoil that either. But I'm like, I don't think that happened with Harry's wand. So as far as I can remember, maybe I will be proven wrong. I don't think Harry's wand ever was, like accidentally like became the Elder Wand or something like that. There isn't none of that actually happens. He just had a deep connection. What?
Ari's trying to like say her thought without revealing anything to me, and it's so funny watching her try to be like, so like thread the needle.
But it is. I'm just like, I know we do. Someone already said we are gonna learn what happens, like the special thing with Harry's wand. We're going to learn the King's Cross chapter. We're going to learn the
tea about the wand.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. One thing that's really nice is that Ron has become the one that is keeping them motivated, keeping them on track.
Trying to.
Attempting to. He's going through all the places a Horcrux might be. He's like, let's think about, the different places we haven't thought of yet. Let's just keep it going. Keep it moving. Keep it moving, y'all. And then we learn from Ron that apparently some of these snatchers, these people that are grabbing up Muggleborns, are apparently some of them can be as bad as Death Eaters. He learned about this listening to Potterwatch, the radio station that he's been trying to find in the evenings for them, but that he hasn't like actually been able to nail down.
Right. Potterwatch.
A Potterwatch. And then they're like, oh, that's the show, huh? And so then he keeps trying to find it, so he keeps trying to guess the password, but he doesn't get lucky until March.
Crazy.
So they've been out here for 2 months.
2 months.
Finally, Ron guesses the correct password. It was Albus. So Harry hurries back in. He was outside the tent, keeping watch. And Ron and Hermione are both kneeling next to the wireless. So the host of Potterwatch is our fave Lee Jordan. He's going by River on the show. And then the guests he has on today are Royal and Romulus.
Okay. Why are their nicknames their nicknames?
So Royal and Romulus, fine. Jordan,
Royal because
River.
Kingsley, King, River Jordan.
River Jordan.
King Royal, and then Romulus and Remus.
Yeah. And then, but
what is Romulus
later,
and Remus? Because I said it in my brain, and then I was like, but what is that?
Isn't Romulus another
legendary twin brothers in Roman mythology who are credited with founding the city of Rome? Great.
Okay. I was like, is it another constellation?
Oh,
no, Sirius is a constellation.
Sirius is a constellation.
Not Lupin.
Yeah,
is it Remus? Rome. Romulus and Remus are twin brothers?
Romulus and Remus are twin brothers whose story tells of the events that led to the founding of the city of Rome and the Roman kingdom by Romulus following his fratricide of Remus. Oh, so she's telegraphing that she's gonna...
So before they get into the actual interview, we hear that, sadly, Ted Tonks and Dirk Crestwell have been murdered.
Yes.
And a goblin.
And a goblin.
And a Muggle family of 5.
Yeah.
But Dean Thomas and someone else. Who else was with them? Dean Thomas
and
the goblin.
Goblin, yeah. Griphook.
Oh, Griphook. Yes, Griphook and Dean managed to get away somehow.
They're on the lam.
They're on the lam. And then they also mentioned that the remains of Bathilda Bagshot have been found. The Order could tell that her body showed signs of dark magic. And to that, Adam and I say, no shit.
And what would that be? Being used as a puppet for
I don't even want to. Yeah, I'm like,
to live
I don't even
inside
want
of your body.
I don't even really want to know like what. Yeah, thank you for leaving it at that. They begin speaking to Royal, who is Kingsley, and Romulus, who is Lupin. Royal makes a request of those wizards and witches and warlocks, all the magical beings in between, in Muggle communities, to cast protective charms over their neighbors, like their neighbors' homes, to help protect them from any malevolent, evil wizards trying to hurt them. Because he's like, that's all it would take. It actually
you got to stand up for your fellow man.
Well. Yeah, and he does have a nice little bit where Kingsley is like, we're all human, aren't we? Like, because River's like, what would you say to those people saying it's like wizards first in times like this? And he's like, we're all human, you know. I don't think that's very helpful because
it's a direct like. I don't know if it's a reference necessarily, but it's like, what's the poem that's like first they came for the
Jews, whatever.
It's the first they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. And they came for the socialists. Yeah, that whole poem.
Yeah, but then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's basically that, said casually. And then Romulus is asked if he believes Harry is still alive and well, and Lupin's like, Romulus/Lupin is like, yes, I have no doubt. And then Lee's like, would you say something to him if he were listening right now? What would you say? And he says, I tell him we're all behind him, and I would tell him to follow his instincts, which are right nearly like all the time. Nearly always right, I think is what he says. And then Ron's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. He went back and he did end up living with Tonks. So he didn't just like abandon her. He didn't just abandon his wife and his child after marrying her and impregnating her. So cool. Hagrid, and they all literally are like, when Hagrid's name is mentioned, they're like, Hagrid. Yeah,
this is Hagrid.
I know. Hagrid was almost arrested. Because he hosted a support Harry Potter party
on the school grounds. While the Carrows and
he's got that dragon. Hagrid. That dragon blood really makes him feel like he doesn't have to worry about stuff like this. I
Diva,
swear.
What are we doing? And Kingsley has to be like, we don't recommend you do that.
Yes. He's like, we love Hagrid, but I wouldn't recommend doing this in these times. He managed to escape, and Lupin's like, yeah, having a 16-foot tall brother definitely matters. So that was cool. And then Lupin, I think it was Lupin. Is it Lupin or Kingsley? One of them, I don't remember. I put that it was Lupin, but now I'm second guessing it. He's like, we love Hagrid, but we don't recommend anyone else doing things like this, not in the current climate. And then
probably Lupin.
And then Lee introduces Rodent. And then Fred's like, what? I'm not Rodent. I don't want to be Rodent.
This one I definitely couldn't tell what the polls were.
I wanted to be Rapier. And then they're like, oh, it's Fred. And then they're like, or George. And Ron's like, I think it's Fred. Just like off of like familial instinct. He's like, I think that's Fred. So Fred starts talking about the different sightings of Voldemort, claims of sightings of Voldemort lately, and how ridiculous some of these are. Some of the rumors that were going around are just silly, including that Voldemort can kill people with one look. This was a very popular one, apparently, that was going around. And he was like, that's a basilisk. That's not you-know-who.
Right.
So, and the way that you can tell the difference is it's a snake. But then he's like, if he got close enough to you, if Voldemort was that close enough to you, you'd probably be dead anyway. So I don't know what to tell you. What did he said something though. He made a joke about how to tell them apart, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, if it has legs, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
One simple test. Check whether the thing that's glaring at you has got legs. If it has, it's safe to look into its eyes. Although if it really is you know who, that's still likely to be the last thing you ever do. And this does kind of break the tension. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are having a great old time, having a little laugh, listening to the wireless. And then and then there's also some talk about how V has left the country, like, because there are some people that have claimed they've seen him abroad. And then they basically sign off, but not before saying the next password, which will be Mad Eye. That's the password for the next broadcast. So then, as soon as they get off, they're like, obviously the mood has been very much lightened. Harry's like, did you hear what Fred said, though? The rumors about him being abroad? He's still looking for the wand. And Hermione's like, oh, God, this again. And then Harry says Voldemort before Ron can cut him off. And immediately there is a very loud crack. And then Ron's like, I told you not to say that. It's taboo. I told you. We can't say that anymore. And suddenly the sneakoscope starts going off. And they all hush because they can hear voices approaching the tent. Ron attempts to hit the deluminator, but it's too late. They've already found them. And then someone outside of the tent says, you've got half a dozen wands pointed at you, and we don't care who we curse, so you better come out. And that's the end.
Great.
That's the end of the titular chapter. It was so cool put it because I always have, like, my notes is, like, HP Anxious and then the name of the book. So it was funny this week because it was like HP Anxious, Deathly Hallows, chapter 22, Deathly Hallows.
I feel like, and we'll just find out next week so you don't even have to answer. I feel like I remember that Hermione like does a spell at least on Harry so he doesn't look like Harry. It's not.
She does.
She does like something to like change his appearance so it doesn't look like him.
Yeah. It's like a stinging jinx.
Great. Well, Ari, great job. Next week we'll be reading chapter 23, Malfoy Mana. In chapter 19, Francis Gerber commented, great episode as always, 5 stars only. My understanding is that Harry could have destroyed the Horcrux, but he feels like Ron has to destroy it to overcome this experience, to feel better about leaving, to feel strong, and like he has value and contributes. Yeah. Basically to help his ego recover.
Yeah.
And that's why I say men are so fucking fragile. That's all I want to say.
Oh, yeah. Who you telling?
Boo. And then on chapter 20, No left a comment and said 5 out of 5. I live. Thanks for bringing this back into my vernacular. I live. That's all we've got. Thanks for leaving us comments. We love hearing what you guys think. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only, or else you'll have a half dozen wands surrounding you ready to curse your brains out. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HB Anxious or YouTube at The Ampliverse. We are hosted on Spotify for podcasters, so thank you to them and are a proud member of The Ampliverse. Please check them out at theampliverse.com. Thanks, Ari.
Thank you, Adam.
And as always, Nox.